Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We provide fan-oriented and analytic discussions on a variety of animated shows, movies, and anime, currently featuring a Steven Universe and Star vs. the Force of Evil, among others. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Sam Quattro.
Hi.
And Michelle Anderer.
Hello.
Today, Sam, Michelle, and I will be discussing the February 17th episode of Steven Universe, Storm in the Room, that aired tonight. Steven Universe has been weekly for a little bit.
And it's literally been 1 week.
Well,
yes,
we're in the middle of a month of, I guess, weekly episodes, but who knows how long this will keep going. And you can check out all of our Steven Universe episode discussions at overlyanimated.com or search for the Overly Animated Podcast on iTunes or your other favorite podcatcher. We do even 2 a week. Check out our feedback show and send that feedback to Justin at overlyanimated.com or just comment in the comments of the website here or on YouTube, wherever you're listening. And if you're listening on YouTube, subscribe to us there. So, spoilers for Storm in the Room. I guess if you have no idea what the episode's about, then it could be spoilers. But let's get into it. What are your initial impressions of this episode, Michelle?
I actually really liked it. I thought the pacing was really good. I like that, because it's kind of been building to this point where Steven has to be thinking about this issue with his mom, and we've been getting kind of him thinking about it a little bit in other episodes, but now he's actually confronting it head on. And I thought it was really nice. I like the fact that he didn't even go into the room for half the episode, and the buildup was really nice when Mrs. Maheshwarn finally did come back, and he's alone for a bit, and it's just I don't know. I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I thought it was a really solid episode.
Nice. Yeah, definitely get into all that. Agree, Sam. What are your thoughts?
I do agree. I enjoyed this episode very much. I really like anything that has to do with mommy issues because I can relate. I feel like Cartoon Network is the mommy issue network as of late with Islands and now this. Well, this has been building, but you know what I mean. I really liked that it just focused on Steven. And, it was a very quiet episode, sonically, obviously, and in terms of action. I like that we got to just sit down and just talk about feelings without a whole bunch of other stuff going on.
Wow, that's so abnormal for this show, talking about feelings.
No, it's true though. No, there were a lot of quiet moments in this episode, and I actually liked that. It didn't feel slow. It felt nice to breathe and appreciate it.
Exactly. So we're not doing feelings during action. We're doing just taking some time, just processing and evaluating our feelings. And you need some of that.
Yeah, there's never any discussion of feelings in Steven Universe.
Dylan's so sarcastic.
I hate you, Dylan. Why do you have to do this?
No, okay. No, that's a good point. It's very quiet. I agree. A quiet, feelings type episode. Usually, a lot of our quiet episodes are more just silly ones. So I think it's a good point. I thought this was a good episode. It was nice. I definitely had been long anticipating a Rose and Steven discussion. I've been hyping that for a long time on here, and we didn't really get that. So I'm a little disappointed that it's not that. But this is, I guess, it's a nice introspective Steven episode. We have some quotes that I liked. There are some nice moments. I like the Connie and Steven in the beginning. I don't really take anything away from this episode that I didn't know before. So I'm not sure that this was the right time to do this type of thing. I feel like this could have been last season, mid-season, and it would have been the same thing, kind of. I'm ready for some actual progression on this front with Steven, and just from the show in general, from some actual kind of. I think we've been in the same status quo for a while. Even the zoo stuff, we ended up right back where we started. And I'm ready for the show to go somewhere.
Dylan, you can't progress unless you assess.
Assess, yeah.
Yeah, you need to assess before you progress.
I don't think that's a thing. I don't know where you got that from, but I don't think that's.
It could be a Sam thing, though.
I guess.
I think I actually just read it in the book recently.
Okay, interesting.
Not it was a fiction book, not a self book.
I think. So I think it was nice what we got. I mean, this episode's gorgeous, and I like the moments that we got. But I also didn't really get anything new from like Steven's character wise from it. So, liked it, didn't love it, basically. Don't think this is a particularly great episode of the show, but I don't know. So I think kind of the main place to start here is, like what Steven concludes from this experience of him talking to himself basically in this weird room that we hadn't been to in like a forever. And I wonder if we're at a place now, if what this episode is saying is that we're done, like with this. Like Steven says at the end, I know you didn't want me to deal with your problems. You're a part of me now, and I have to deal with what you left behind. So, like, I wonder if this is a conclusion to the Steven angst about Rose. Like, is it like, okay, I'm my own person. My mom like screwed up a bunch of stuff. Let's deal with it now. Or is this just the next step in him, or in going somewhere else with this? What do you think of that, Sam?
Maybe it's a conclusion, and then we'll find out that Pearl shattered Pink Diamond, and then we'll be mad at Pearl for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, okay. I mean, we're not going to get into the...
All right, but okay, so I don't know, because stuff like that, like in real life, it doesn't wrap up as neatly. So I think, of course, he's still going to be feeling a lot of like resentment, and they're just like struggling with like having to deal with his mother's mistakes in the aftermath, even though like that wasn't really her intention to just leave him with all of her stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to be wrapped up as neatly as oh, we're never going to talk about it again. I mean, I'm not sure it'll come up more recently, like in the next like couple episodes, but it might come up like maybe next season after that, whatever. I mean, that stuff doesn't go away. So.
Yeah, I think that's a very reasonable interpretation, that this is like Steven, it's not as much of an immediate emotional thing for him. It like puts it on the back burner. It's still never going to go away with him, but this could be like him, like, for now I've come to terms with this type of thing. I think that totally is what it could be. What do you think of that, Michelle?
I agree with that. I think at this point, it's like, it's closed the chapter on him, like, feeling how he feels about Rose, and maybe also just like closing the chapter on him feeling like he needs to live up to her, because what he thought he was living up to and what he thinks of that now is kind of different. So maybe this is like his motivation to like, he's going to handle things as the consequence to Rose leaving, but he's going to be more confident doing it like his own way, not to be as much like her, but just like to be himself, because he does have some differences. And maybe that'll be highlighted more as he moves forward. But yeah, I don't think it's like totally concluded. I think it's definitely, I think we'll revisit this at a different time, maybe with some new information. But like for now, like this is how it's going to be maybe for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's I think that's kind of what I would have concluded as well. So I'm glad that this is a consensus on, like, this is like putting a bow on it, like for the moment. So I think the next step is, if that's true, and I don't know if that's necessarily like, well, this could be just the next step in, because there's nothing really definitive that comes out of this. They could
not at all.
They could kind of go anywhere at this point with the Rose arc, but let's say it's at least temporarily on hold. My question is, like, is this a satisfactory conclusion to this pretty long-term plot arc that the show's been on? And for me, I would say, like, no. Like, if this is the conclusion, this isn't enough for me. And I don't think it's supposed to be, like, the definitive conclusion, but it's going to leave me wanting more from this type of thing until it comes up again. Yeah.
I actually do feel okay with it, because I think, like...
Same.
Yeah, and I think part of it's just, like, the way the episode ended, because, like, he's like... He's sad, he sits on the couch, he's like really bummed out, but then like everyone comes back, and like you can see like even the dynamic with like Greg is changing. Like he's like way more involved with the gems now, and everyone likes Greg, and he's like included.
Yeah,
and
that's
he's
a whole,
like
what's
being
up, what's
a good
up with
dad.
That? Yeah,
no, I think it's just like it's the progression of what's been happening. Like the place everyone was at the beginning of the show has evolved. And I think like the fact that he has like a very strong support system, like I think it is gonna be okay. And that's kind of what that was trying to say at the end of the episode. Even if like he doesn't ever really meet his mom, and he knows that he has to like do all this now, like he's accepted that, and so like it's not alone. Yeah. Oh yeah, go ahead, Sam.
No, my bad. I thought you were done talking. No, I want to say something a little bit odd. I feel like I'm satisfied with like the dissatisfaction, if that's a word. With like Steven being unsatisfied.
You're like, this is life, right? You're like, this
yeah,
is
exactly.
Yeah.
And like I'm satisfied that it's realistic. You know.
I feel that. So it's like there aren't these like emotional like neat bows on things. Like this is pretty representative of a lot of our complicated views of our rose type figures, I guess, right? That's what you're getting at, Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying, but I guess for me, like, you know, it's not my life. It's like this is the show, and this is like a realistic thing for Steven to come to terms with. I'm not. I guess we should see like what is the conclusion here, because it's really pretty. It's pretty fast, and it's not kind of clear. It seems like he's like, okay, mom screwed up a lot of stuff, and she may not be she may not be a great person. Like, is that the conclusion? I don't know if he doesn't really say the might not be a great person part, but I feel like that's implied from some of the stuff he gets into at the end.
Okay, so I had this like whole thing I was thinking about during the episode that I wanted to say on the podcast. And no, we're podcasting.
Yeah,
so
do it.
Might as well do it. So I think when you don't really know somebody, you kind of idolize them to an extent. Especially like if it's like somebody who's dead or somebody who is just like far away from you, and like, you know, your support system and people you know are always like talking them up, like, you know, this person is so great or was so great, you would really love them, etc. So you put them on this pedestal, and when you finally, if ever, like meet them, or like you hear, you know, some of the bad stuff that they've done, or hear like opinions to the contrary, you know, they kind of get knocked down. You have to come to terms with the person who you thought was perfect, whether or not you like consciously thought that. The person who you thought was like basically good is not perfect. They are flawed. They are human, or in this case, they are gem. But you know, gems have rather human characteristics, and I think a lot of people experience that. They experience that with their parents in any sort of rape, because, you know, the parent is like, you know, they are the rock in a lot of situations. They are the one who takes care of you. And, you know, as you grow older, you sort of realize, you know, your parents are just as flawed as you are. And they're not perfect, and they're not like solely good. And as you get older, you sort of realize maybe some of the stuff my parents did wasn't super great. Or maybe, you know, there are some things I need to come to terms with that. And I think that's like kind of where Steven is. You know, where he's, you know, in teenage years, he's kind of realizing, you know, through outside forces and his own investigations, maybe my mom wasn't as great as I was led to believe. And I don't know, I thought I had a point to that.
That makes sense, though. Yeah.
But that's what happened when you let me just talk for 2 minutes. I just forget what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think, Michelle?
So you liked it because you felt like it was a very real portrayal of like what he was actually confronting with Rose.
Yeah.
Right, Sam? Yeah, I mean, I think that makes total sense. And honestly, I think I'm also getting I agree with Dylan that the show has spent so much time like establishing like Rose as like almost untouchable at the beginning, and we're slowly breaking that down, because like obviously she couldn't live up to like all the hype surrounding her at the beginning, and like now we're seeing that more and more, but it doesn't feel like this is the end either. So like I agree with Dylan to the point that like there's probably a lot more they're gonna get into. We don't know when. We never know like how long it's gonna take. It took so long for him to even like try to talk about this with himself, but if on the off chance this is like all we get, I think I'd feel okay with it too. But I don't think it's done.
Yeah, I agree. It feels very real in that, like, if this was it. And I think Sam made some great points about, like, the idolizing this person you don't know type thing. And I think that's totally what they've been doing with Steven and Rose. Like, I think that's a lot of what we've been getting into recently. Steven says in this episode, this is how I want you to be, but I don't know if this is who you really are. You put us all in danger and you just disappeared. Did you make me just so you wouldn't have to deal with your mistakes? And I guess he kind of negates that last one after the fact, but, yeah, it seems like a very negative conclusion to this. I guess I'd critique the episode. I think it's a little fast. I think if the point is Steven arrives at like this is the real portrayal of Rose. This is really what like I was like she was too much of a rosy picture of her type thing. I guess that's kind of a pun, but yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, that was not but like I think if that is the point, like I didn't necessarily take that away. And I've seen the episode twice, and like even though it just aired, and
Okay.
yeah, and it I didn't really get that until the second time. Like I don't know if it's supposed to be Steven concluding negative on Rose, and that in and of itself, that ambiguity is also really real. I think like it's complex feelings. But I do wonder how much like the episode was intended to end on Steven feeling kind of negative towards Rose. What do you think of that, Michelle?
I don't think it is. I think it's more complicated at this point than it is negative. Like his biggest fears are when he's like, "Did you make me so like you wouldn't have to deal with your own problems?" And like immediately, like the Rose in his brain projected the room is like, "That's not true. You saw that video left you. Like that I made you because I wanted you to exist because I love you so much, and I think you're like the most amazing thing. That was a choice I made. As a consequence, yes, you do have to deal with all these things. But I think the thing Steven's forgetting is like." Which is why I like the ending so much. It's like when he goes back, it's like it's not like he has to do all this alone. Like he has a team of people behind him, and they're all gonna deal with it. Like, so I think it's like complicated, but I would honestly say it's a little more positive note to end on than negative. Ultimately,
I would agree. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Steven does negate his own thing with the video thing, but then then after that he says I have to deal with what you left behind. So yeah, I that's all really fast. That's all within a minute. It's a little tough to parse. I'm gonna definitely say that the episode like went through this too fast. And I do think the like hard to parse part of it adds to the realism. So I get that. Yeah, I think it's probably meant to be more complicated. I think for Steven's viewing of Rose, complicated is negative, like is kind of what I would say, like, relative to what he had before anything Bismuth started coming up, I think this is one of the more negative portrayals of Steven to Rose that we've had for sure.
I'm gonna like ask something really kind of dumb. Is something negative necessarily a bad thing?
No, I guess not.
Like, is Steven feeling negative a bad thing? Because I don't think it is.
I mean, what do you mean a bad thing? Like
I don't know,
for himself or like
just like for like I don't know. Like if this were like your friend, do you think like, oh, Steven, you shouldn't feel negative about that?
Okay, yeah. So
blah,
in
blah,
terms
blah.
of Steven as a person, yeah, no, I agree. It's not a bad thing. Like it's I think it would be better for him not to have this unrealistic view of Rose. Like it's possible that's better for him as a person to have a more realistic view. I think that's totally legitimate. Like this, Steven's probably healthier having to come to terms with this and to not like have this inflated view that just gets challenged by things and throws him into conflict. If he has a more grounded view of it, then he wouldn't have had those extreme reactions before, I would say.
I guess I'm torn between saying it's like negative, which to me implies like it's bad, versus like just very critical, whereas it wasn't before. And I'm not sure if those would be like super similar things or not. He's definitely a lot more critical of her.
Yeah.
I don't know which it is. I think it could be either, and I think it's left a little bit ambiguous, which is pretty interesting. My question is like to like wrapping up the Rose discussion part of it. There's also like 4 minutes of Kanye in this episode, but yeah. My question is like, if we do get a Lion Pink Diamond reveal in sometime in the near future, or some other reveal that kind of like absolves Rose. Like if Pink Diamond is stuck in Lion, then that's like Steven's like, oh, Rose wasn't Rose didn't shatter Pink Diamond. Like if okay, so the Lion thing is irrelevant for this as much as I want to talk about it again, but the real thing is like if Steven discovers that Rose didn't actually shatter Pink Diamond, how does that negate the kind of deep realistic strides we made in this episode? Because I feel like that's something that's could very much happen soon. Like Steven discovers Rose didn't shatter Pink Diamond. Why do you say no to that, Sam?
Because he brought up a couple points other than that. Like, she bubbled Bismuth and
didn't tell anyone.
Yeah, didn't tell anyone, and just like did like a whole bunch of like dumb, like not dumb, but morally ambiguous things. So, other than just, like, supposedly shattering Pink Diamond. So I don't think that negates it at all. I think that's just, like, one thing off of a list, but it doesn't negate the whole entire list.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't
fair.
negate it, but also it's like, how is Steven going to react to that? Like Steven's like, okay, it's, Rose is
Maybe like a little bit of relief.
You think so? How does that relief play into the conclusions drawn here from this episode? I think that's a tough one. What do you any thoughts on any of this stuff, Michelle?
I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's an idea.
I think it would really depend on the context for like if Pink Diamond's alive, like was it like a deal she made with Rose or was it like something else? Because if it wasn't like an agreement, maybe there's still a lot of like sketch stuff going on there that Rose would still be accountable for. I mean, I think that's still a real possibility. So like
also, even if Pink Diamond's still alive, everybody else, like all the other gens, think she's dead.
And
for the time
being, the records have been bubbled as consequence. Like, it doesn't.
We'd still have to deal with the lying stuff. So there's certainly I wonder how that's going to play because my read on the show is that we're doing the Pink Diamond shattering thing soon. Like, I think we're going to address that soon. But this episode makes me think maybe not because if we did do that, then we'd negate some of the conclusions we drawn here. And like we've been saying, like it wouldn't necessarily negate it, but I do think it'd make it like complex and it'd be interesting if we went this direction so soon after this episode. I'm a little less certain at this point that that's what's next.
Maybe we'll get like a couple
really
filler
don't
episodes.
Know what's like. Do you guys like know?
Yeah, no, there's no indicator what's
like the cluster is still a thing. Like maybe Jasper is still a thing. I don't know though. Like where we're going.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, okay. This is a good brief segue. I was going to do this at the end, but yeah. So right now we're in the part of season.
It's like the aftermath of like
the way they're structuring. They seem to be structuring seasons right now is having a bunch of towny or other like less plot relevant episodes before you get into the plot of the season type thing. They did that last season or season 2 or something. And really, we just haven't gotten to the plot of the season. We like had kind of like this Zoo miniseries, but it wasn't even related to anything. So it's left us with no direction at the moment. I'll say brief Dylan rant. There's more to get into that episode. I really don't think that this is a good structure for the show. Like this, it's so basically I'm just not super excited with this episode or preview or episodes around this from the show. And, I think it's in large part because these are the ones Cartoon Network chooses to air weekly for some reason, and the plot ones they cram together. But it's really just I think the show needs more consistency in its like overarching narratives and action, and instead of just like, okay, we'll take 20 episodes and we'll do stuff in there, and then we'll have 10 in the middle, and then those will just be like whatever. That's really not working for me, these 10 in the middle. Like I don't think that this is to the quality level that the rest of the show is. Like I think this is like a solid episode, but it's just seeing these episodes week after week that are quiet and some of them insignificant. It's tough for me. Like I'm not my highest on Steven Universe right now is what I would say.
I think we might enjoy different characteristics of episodes if that's the case, Dylan. I like the quiet stuff. Like I really do. I think it's really nice. What about you, Sam?
This is a nice episode.
I just like things I can relate to. I relate.
Yeah, to this episode. Yeah, I did too.
I'm sure to relate to any Pearl episode, so I'm good. Or any Amethyst episode, so I'm good if I can relate to stuff.
This isn't the best example because this is, I agree, this is a better case of these type of episodes. But it's like last week and then our Ronaldo episode next week.
That's true.
Right. So, I don't know why we're doing it this way. I don't know why we need to have these 10 in the middle. Like let's go. Let's get to it. You can have these in the middle of the plot ones. Like I'm not saying these shouldn't exist. I just don't know why it's structured like this. Anyway.
Yeah, it feels kind of like willy-nilly like
yeah, it's the show is very much
like it's not like they don't know what they're doing. It's just like I don't know.
The show's very much directionless in terms of its plot right now, and it's I don't know. So we'll see where we go next. Anyway, the other stuff in the episode. So this episode I think had a lot of light moments too as well. Any that stand out to you? My favorite was the handshake simulator video game. I think that was my highlight from the episode.
I wonder what
arm wrestling simulator.
What is that based on?
It was based on that one show he liked.
No,
Yeah,
so
I
I think
know,
same
but,
as
like,
in real life. Yeah, like
in real
it's,
life, that, like,
well,
there
it's-
has
yeah,
to be
well-
something
Yeah.
to
well, fighting games spin off into other things. That's a thing that happens. I think.
Yeah, it is
yeah.
a thing. It was.
Yeah. So it's
Arm wrestling is so specific.
Lonely Arms, the arm wrestling simulator.
Oh,
spin-off
it's
of the
Lonely
fighting
Blade. That was
game.
the show,
Yeah.
and then it was like something to do with that, and then
Probably
they
like
made
it's
an
a
arm
series
game.
of movies.
Yeah, it was a series of movies, VHS movies.
I don't know. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that really landed for me. Spinning off fighting games and stuff, like it's like a spinning off a spin-off, and yeah, it's great. I really like that one. Thoughts on the Charlie Brown moment?
It gave me flashbacks to Gem Harvest. Was it Gem? Which was the one where it was like essentially like a Wile E. Coyote
Yeah, that
episode?
one.
It
Yeah,
was
that
like
one.
totally felt like
Kindergarten
that.
Kid.
Oh,
Kindergarten
Kindergarten Kid,
Kid,
just
yeah.
Kindergarten Kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like same
I-
kind
yeah.
of deal.
I really didn't like that they just did the sound effects and
Yeah,
they played
it's
that show
so
straight.
random.
I don't know why they
I
did
like
that.
forgot about it because then like stuff was actually happening.
It's
Yeah.
been 5 ever
Yeah.
since I've seen Charlie Brown.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I like that Steven
Especially all
yelled.
the football. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, they're
Yeah, I
not.
was like, oh,
They're
they're
not
gonna do it.
And this, they did it.
They didn't
Yeah.
do the
Wow.
scream
Yeah, they
that Charlie
saved us
usually
one
does.
thing.
Yeah, not a fan of the play. I don't. That seemed out of place. I like that Steven yelled touchdown at the end, which was not a yeah. But that was
That
good.
was funny.
I like the concept of Steven like playing catch with Rose. Yeah.
All
That-
sports are beautiful.
yeah, all sports are beautiful is the best Rose parody. Like it's so good. It's
Like
I
all these things are like race, athletics, and it all
Yeah.
is just the same game in the end.
yeah, they didn't play that for comedy as much as they could have. All sports were beautiful is a really funny line, and I don't think it like landed as funny in the episode, but it's
I know, like
that whole sequence, and she was like running together. It's just like, what is going on? Like it felt very odd to me.
yeah.
but
No, I think
went
that's
with it.
I think it's supposed to be funny, and
It's
yeah, no, it's they didn't. I
think
think it's a rare miscue from the show in terms of production. Like I think it should have been lighter music, or it's more indicating that this is like not a completely serious sequence. Like I mean, at the same time, it's complicated because it's not clear at this point that this is like completely in Steven's head. So but
she said a lot of things that sounded kind of off, though, kind of the way Greg did when he was first, like the fake Greg in the room.
yeah, no, this
Kind
is
of curated. Like she had some weird lines too at the beginning.
everything we say from that Rose says here is like such a like Rose parody type line.
Yeah,
hey,
which
totally.
Dylan, does it remind you of that one Black Mirror episode that you really like? The one
yeah.
with the girl, the Haley
be,
Atwell.
Yeah, be right back. I don't know. I think that was more realistic than Steven's depiction of Rose here.
Okay.
that's another podcast compared.
Michelle,
Yeah.
hopefully you know what we're talking
Oh
about.
yeah, I've seen Black Mirror.
Oh, nice. Good.
Alright.
Good. Thumbs up. Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was the All Sports Are Beautiful is really, really good. I've always felt something was unusual in my adolescence. Maybe this is what was missing. Football, says Steven. Lol. Yeah. Sure, Steven.
Football.
Yeah. Yeah.
I played soccer.
Yeah, sure. It wasn't growing up with aliens. Sure.
Dylan
and
played baseball.
I also played soccer too, and yeah, a lot of.
What do
stuff.
you play, Michelle?
Oh.
Okay, this is not important. Thought.
Yeah.
So Steven says he's thought about dyeing his hair pink multiple times.
I actually
Thoughts?
like that. I thought that was really cute in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do it, Steven.
Yeah, do it, man.
So
Yeah.
that I can dye mine pink and I can be for Halloween.
And then
again.
you'll cosplay. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think those are the good ones from the Rose stuff. Steven. Okay, the Connie stuff. Steven playing the what is
Mad
it?
Libs.
Weird. Yeah, he calls it
Oh, yeah, it
weird
was-
word
it was
game.
Mad
Yeah,
Libs for sure.
it's Mad Libs though. I thought that was good. Connie freaking out. So
I,
I think
relate to that. I would always freak out whenever
No,
my mom would.
me too. Like even like when I visit my parents now, like if they're gone for more than like 4 hours, I'm like maybe they're dead. I'll think about
Yeah, I
like,
still
what
freak
to
out
do
because
for a
when-
funeral. Yeah, that's like real though.
Right. So, yeah. So the Connie stuff, I think in the beginning is interesting because, clearly it's supposed to just be, this is what triggers Steven feeling, is like seeing the Connie and Connie's mom with the,
It was really well done
with
though.
the
Like
love,
it felt very
yeah.
natural to me. Like when the mom comes and just like walking back and like Steven's just kind of like listening to them leave, and then he like feels how
Right,
alone
yeah.
he is in the house. Like
it was a great
I
triggering
like
for
liked
it. Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it transitioned well. I think it was nice serving that purpose. It was also like 5 minutes in the beginning and nothing really happened, so I don't know. But we wasted our rare Connie appearance on Connie being upset. I didn't like that. We need happy Connie.
People get upset, Dylan.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, more facets of her character, which is why I think I like some of the quiet episodes. It gives them a chance to do more things than just like be freaked out because plot things are going on. I like seeing her interact.
Jasper, yeah,
stress.
More than that, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. I feel like we're missing the most important discussion topic. So at the beginning, Connie says she relinquishes control of the bed to you. So Connie's just staying in Steven's in the.
She's getting into character.
Yeah, why was she like staying in the Gem Temple and staying?
That's a good question.
Bed?
What'd she tell her parent? Like, obviously, she told her mom, yeah, he's in space or the spa or whatever. But why was she just like sleeping over his house? And how did she get their permission to do that?
Well,
I wonder if we're taking it too.
Actually.
Maybe we're taking it too literally, and Connie was being tongue in cheek. But I don't know. Like, yeah,
she did go until he said the last episode.
Stay over.
Yeah.
Well, she was certainly there. Did they sleep in that episode? I don't know.
She slept in the episode before. Like, she's definitely been sleeping there.
Okay, there you go. Interesting. I feel like that's a big plot hole. We knew this addressed.
That'll be a mini. No, we don't call it mini cast, do we? Round table.
Yeah.
Steven Universe plot holes.
There you go. I feel like that's the least of our. I don't know if the show has a lot of plot holes, but
that's a plot hole.
This is that the show doesn't have plot holes, or that this is okay. Anyway,
whoa.
The gems are gone from putting up the car wash sign. You won't believe how many of them it takes to screw in a light bulb. Says
I hate when they laugh at their own jokes. That just drives me nuts.
To be good enough,
I hate that. That's what like turns me off of the show most of the time. I hate when they laugh at their own jokes.
Interesting. Last thing I need right now is more space.
I didn't even get that. It did not register the first time. I was like, why did he emphasize that? And I was like, oh my god.
Oh, that was great. I like that one. That was one of my favorite ones.
Yeah. I went on intergalactic adventure.
And we have a solid minute of Steven making mac and cheese. I think that was prime Steven. You related because you've made mac and cheese before?
Yeah, I did too, though. Yeah, because he's alone. What else is he gonna do? He's gonna make mac and cheese.
Who's eating the mac and cheese?
I would not put it into a bowl. I would just eat it straight out of the hard thing, though.
The microwave thing, yeah.
Yeah, because I am.
What do you think of Steven's mushroom pizza at the end, Sam?
I would have been so mad.
I love mushrooms. I was gonna say. So everybody commented on the pumpkin discourse last week. Good job. I got your opinions. I want to know your opinions on mushrooms. Personally, I love mushrooms a lot.
Oh,
mostly portobello mushrooms are my fave, but that's the most common mushrooms.
I predict most people will be anti, but we'll see.
No, just let them speak.
Okay,
guys,
just comment with
tell
your
me
opinions,
if you like mushrooms or not. What kind of mushrooms you like? If you have a recommendation.
Leave that for the. You guys didn't address the pumpkin stuff on the feedback. I was disappointed. Justin's like, I'm done with this. He didn't talk about it, Michelle.
There were a lot of people who talked about the pumpkins in the comments.
Yeah, no, he ignored all of them. It was pretty great.
Man, I'm so mad now. If I'd known.
Yeah, you have to force him. You have to force him to talk about the mushroom. There you go.
Okay, good. Yes, I will.
Okay.
Wait, I want to say I always get mushrooms on my pizza. By the way.
Okay, that's good to know.
Back from the spa, says Connie's mom. Yeah, no space. Island, she doesn't care. Interesting.
Oh, it's he must have went to NASA camp or something.
Yeah, it must have been some.
It's probably
Doesn't she know though?
I think they know, but they still think about it.
Yeah, they just don't think about it. Yeah.
Who knows? Is it summertime? What time of the year is it there right now? Summer.
So they briefly mention it this episode because Greg says I'm back in jean shorts, so maybe that's an indicator that it's now spring again. I don't know though, because it was winter, right?
How did Connie just presumably it's not a weekend, if it's unless it's probability, but
we had summer end with that onion episode, and now it's warm again. So that was my thinking.
Maybe
spring,
it's spring break or something.
So anyway, and at the end, and Pearl too, says Steven, which is like, lol.
They didn't talk. They couldn't get the voice actresses.
No, stop. No, don't be Tumblr about that. And no, that's not how that works. Last discussion topic.
I know that.
Steven, still wearing the earrings, takes them off. My question is, why is the little voice not still in the earrings?
Out of range.
Yeah, out of range for sure.
But
they did not plan on it going
right.
that
So the
far
technology
away.
is not within the earrings; it is within the zoo.
I guess.
I think so.
I guess that's what that implies. I see gem technology though. Like gems are these like super complex things, and these tiny gems, they could totally have functioned in that small earring.
Out of range.
Yeah, but it doesn't. The gems are out of range on Earth. They're, like.
So they're a couple like light years away.
The gems are out of range. Why doesn't?
I don't know. Maybe the home world is closer than the zoo.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
No.
Why did you bring this up, Dylan?
Because I thought we'd have a more complex discussion.
See, this is why we need the plot holes thing.
Send in your. I don't think that's a plot hole. Let's send in your comments on that. Yeah. So I mean, it's very possible it's just like the central and the zoo CPU or whatever.
What program do the gems run on?
They're their own
like
thing.
HTML or
No,
like.
No,
like Java or something. I don't know. I took a
no.
programming class once, and that was like a couple years ago.
They're not. They're not that.
Dylan would know more about that stuff.
I can tell you that they're not that. But yeah, maybe they could. I don't know. We're not gonna get into that. But that's interesting too.
Windows.
Yeah, they're running Windows. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Or like Linux. I hear Linux is like really complex, so I guess
maybe it's
Linux.
Last comment, Sam, on the episode.
Thumbs up. I liked it a lot. It was a good episode during a time when I'm just like kind of sick of Steven Universe right now, and it made me feel like
that's what I'm a little bit on.
Really?
Yeah. Thoughts, Michelle?
I liked it. I think one thing I noticed, because like the only other time I've seen Steven like attempt to like hang out with any version of Rose was like an indirect kiss, and he was like so awkward, and it was really hard for him to try to connect to her on any kind of level. And I think he actually did, like, even though it's also still not really her.
There's a
but,
statue.
When he was like laying against her like cloud knee, he like cried a little bit, like, this is nice. Like, I should have done this earlier. Like, I do think he made some kind of ground somehow. It was subtle, but I liked it.
Nice. Thumbs up.
That's my closing thought.
Next
the way
week,
you think of people is not the way they really are.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. That is largely a thesis statement for Rose's character. Yeah.
That's how life is in general.
Yes. Next week is Rocknaldo. Ronaldo sets out to find all the rock people living in Beach City.
Name for an episode is that? It's about Ronaldo and rocks. All right, let's just call it Rocknaldo.
Yeah. Prediction:
Man.
next Rocknaldo will be an excellent episode. That's my prediction.
Absolutely not. When has a Ronaldo episode ever been excellent?
Literally all of them.
Never. The answer is never.
Every single one.
Oh no.
Every single one. There you go.
Where is he going to find the rock people?
The gems
are
rock
ruin
people.
Somebody's good time. That's how he's gonna like.
This is the episode when Ronaldo joins our main cast because he figures out where the gems are.
He's going to go to like
out.
I think he's just going to go to like a rock concert or something and be like,
"Where are the rocks?"
It's gonna be great. We'll see.
The Rolling Stones or something.
But the best part is we get the Keep Beach City Weird Tumblr updated. So
that's true. That part is actually fun. That's the most fun thing. About
actually fun, as if Ronaldo episodes are not actually fun.
They're not.
Blasphemy.
They're
okay.
not. Thank you.
Save your comments. Save your comments on Ronaldo episodes for next week because you can we'll get into that then. But yeah, for now, overlyanimated.com. Find all of recent stuff. A lot of Star discussion going on. It's great. We're right in the heart of February of Star, and check us out at consider supporting us at Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thank you very much to all of our patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Beatrice, aka Beatrix Strange. Thank you very much, Beatrice, as always. Yeah.
Beatrix.
Yeah.
We love you.
Yeah, a lot of discussion going on in the Facebook patron only group. Check out that and more patron rewards at patreon.com/overlyanimated.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
Also,
thought we had like an award show for the patrons at some point. I was like, when that?
No. Also, if you haven't ever given us an iTunes review and you're a frequent listener, please consider doing that. You can go to our iTunes feed from overlyanimated.com and you can leave us an iTunes review there. We really don't have a lot, and that's a big way to help grow the podcast. Is by
I really
boosting us
like
up
reading the reviews, especially if you mention me.
Yeah, so mention Sam, but yeah, leave us reviews.
Because I'm a really big narcissist, and I like to see what people think about me.
You comment on Sam and leave iTunes reviews on Sam.
Don't actually do that because that's just like inviting people to just bash me.
Okay, don't do that. Don't comment on Sam then. Okay, it's edited out. Okay, but yeah, please give us iTunes reviews so we can move up the iTunes listings for stuff. Yeah, very important. Anyway, we'll be back with feedback. Send that to JustinOverlyAnimated.com. Comment here and comments in the YouTube comments wherever you are. Leave us some comments and
mushroom opinions.
Mushroom opinions.
Oh yeah, mushroom opinions for sure. For Sam.
Yeah,
and, we'll see if there's food next week. That
a lot of.
Talk about rocks. We can talk about rocks next week.
I like rocks a lot. So.
Okay, winning against rocks. Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.